and it has been a very burning matter across Nigeria. People are talking about it. People are calling for justice. And as a pro-democratic group, it is our responsibility to make it a subject of discussion so that people can have their say in attempt to end further escalation and bring to an end all forms of extrajudicial killings across the country. So please, Mr. Rampon, please, I'll be handing over the mic to you so you can have your input while we anticipate further contribution from our wonderful audience. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. Due process, and good evening, Parliament, or good morning, afternoon, wherever you may be. I thought Elder Gonifo or Sunday wanted to say something earlier. Please, if you are just joining, I think it's good you rename your device properly, name, so we can easily identify you, because we may likely send you out because we need to know. We can't call iPhone as a person, so to address you properly, please rename your device properly.
So there has been a trending video.
I think
please, if you want to speak, please, we want orderliness in this platform. Mr. Rampram, please exit the iPhone guy. I don't know. The background is so noisy. You cannot have contribution in this instance. Thank you.
Yeah,
okay. All right. Thank you for that swift action. So there has been a video going around, and the video has, although there are some of the events that have been happening in Edo State, supposedly some people are beginning to circulate it as if it's a fresh event. You know, the Edo instance is a situation where they face a lot of attacks from haters who go to communities, alleged haters rather, who visit communities and brutalize the community dwellers. You could see a lot of a very good, a very bad scene where dead bodies were just lying helplessly. And I want to bring it to the attention of the public that that wasn't a fresh event. It was one of the bloody attack that took place in the community, a situation that actually led to the action taken by the community in Uromi to block those whom they found with some rifle, whom they believe they are kidnappers. Although there has been no certainty as to whether they are kidnappers or they are hunters or they are innocent. The matter is under investigation. And we look forward to a very comprehensive investigation and having an unbiased outcome. So please, we want you to have your contribution. It's on record that when things like this happen, there are expected reprisal attacks across that area where such events has taken place. And we expect that the Nigerian security should be up to the responsibility by ensuring the safety, the security of lives and property of every people who are living in Edo currently and across the entire country. So, Mr. Dego Sunday, you want to have an input, so please go on to unmute your mic and habits. Thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Due Process.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Union and every member of this platform today. You see, I want to start by saying that I personally, I don't support jungle justice. It has happened because these people take law into their hand because killings have been, too rampant in that environment, and Edo State at large. I want to cite an example of what is happening in Orion local government, Ovia North East. Two communities have, left their village, their homeless in Auchi, that is Esako Central. Killings have been happening all over the place. Now, definitely, these people may want to revenge. Yes, everything still lies on government. A way forward to go from here. The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria needs to firstly announce and declare amnesty, that everybody in the possession of arms and ammunition throughout the 36 states and Federal Capital Territory should submit their arms to the Commissioner of Police, or rather to the state headquarters of the Nigeria Police. After handling the first stage of amnesty, maybe that will last for 6 weeks to 2 months. After that, if they want to cleanse this Nigeria to put an end to insecurity further, they have to bring everybody in the village down to the capital city of their state, secure them accommodation. Then after that, the Nigerian military have to go into forests, cleanse every forest throughout the nation. That is the way to put an end to this insecurity. If we cannot do that, there is no way to cleanse, these mess in totality. So I yield my mind to allow others to talk. But that is just the way, that is the calculation on how to end insecurity. Thank you.
Thank you for the wonderful contribution. I could remember vividly during the administration of Musa Yar'Adua of blessed memory, he announced amnesty for the people of the Niger Delta, and he invited them to submit their arms, of which majority of them did. And they laid down their arms, and the government provided them with amnesty. What am I trying to say? The people of the Niger Delta, they have a credible reason to be aggrieved because the resources that the federal government is using to run the country is all coming from the Niger Delta, because Nigeria is oil-dependent country. And they are, if you look at the environment, they cannot access potable water. They are majorly into fishery as an occupation. And the oil spillage has affected their businesses. So agriculture-wise, their lands have been taken over.
Трепуха, два лимузина, две бутылки джина. Сидим, обсуждаем с Димой, какие все дебилы.
Please, let's not admit all this Russian. They're just trying to disrupt our program. So, like I was saying, their land has been affected by oil spillage, and the only way they can survive is for government to provide them with some leverages to cushion the effect of oil spillage and enable them to carry on their normal lives as a people with dignity. But in this case of herders farmers clashes that we have seen for some time in the country, is a situation that is very challenging, is affecting a lot of communities, especially across the central Nigeria area, whereby you see the herders are seen grazing on farmland, not just farmland, grazing on crops. And of course, it's provocative and it often leads to some clashes in this community. So the solution that we are looking at, because we cannot just be talking about the complaining, is about coming up with a workable solution, which has to do with the government should look into policy that is convenient and that is workable. We've seen countries coping with cases like this. As a matter of fact, globally, people no more embark on open grazing. You know, there should be ranching style that takes the place of grazing. Instead of moving around with cow, you get a piece of land, you rent it or you buy it, and you fertilize the piece of land to be able to provide the grazing needs of your herders, of your herds, instead of moving around and destroying people's farm. So this is my own point of view, and if the federal government can do something in that regard, it will go a long way to solve the very ugly situation between herders and farmers across Nigeria. So the next person, Mr. Egben. Is it Mr. Agbanifo? Mr. Agbanifo, please.
Thank you very much, G-Process, for the opportunity. Standing on existing protocol, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody, depending on where you are, what time it is, from where you are listening from. What we are discussing here is right now in the front burner in the country right now, and is something that is very fundamental. Like you have mentioned in your opening speech, what are the remote causes? This is something that is very delicate. Nobody supports any extrajudicial killing in any circumstance. But we should, in reviewing all of this, not sweep under the carpet. And you should also know that nobody will just wake up and start killing a fellow human being just like that. Something would have been responsible for all of these actions. So deliberating on this or looking at it from the surface without actually addressing the remote causes and the root cause would not be a justifiable way of reviewing what this issue is. Now, I would say that basically what has resulted in this kind of situation in Edo State and in some part of the country right now is the absolute breakdown in security. If you observe for a very long time now, the people of Edo State, particularly within that Edo Central area, and in some part of Edo South, Uromi, as mentioned by Mr. Sunday Edegbe, Ovia North East, and a couple of other places, have been crying of insecurity and complaining about this herdsmen ab initio before now, since the inception of this government. They can't even access their farms any longer. And we even have situations where, in some situations where these herdsmen, they will overrun some villages and even chase the people out of their villages. These things has been in the news. There's hardly any day you tune the radio in the morning that you don't get all of these informations and all of this news on the radio. And the government have been hearing all of these things, and no action has been taken. So, but now that you have few people that have been killed, you now see your country is turning upside down. But I think, like somebody mentioned yesterday, we are all Nigerians. Those that have been affected before now are also Nigerians. What step has been taken? So there has been this absolute breakdown in security before now, and the people, it is a kind of way to say that the people have actually lost confidence in the government to provide security for them. So they are trying to, it's a way of saying they are trying to defend themselves or try to make a statement that they no longer have confidence in the government to provide for them or actually check security for them. Because otherwise, if the government was up to its responsibility in the area of security and be able to protect people, people would not have any reason to want to defend themselves or begin to harass their fellow countrymen or suspect even people that they see around as kidnappers. But because of the failure of the security apparatus of government, people don't have to take these laws into their hands. But having said that, you also understand that governance is supposed to be a continuous thing. Before this government came into power, we had a smooth security process in Edo State. We had a department that is called Command and Control by the previous government that has this surveillance. They have CCTV cameras, surveillance team all over the state, and they're able to checkmate the security. At least we knew that security issues within that regime was very low, and there were little or no complaint. We really have a lot of these herdsmen issues around the time. But with the exception of this government, everything seems to have collapsed, which obviously indicates that there was no continuity in the activities of the previous government. Everybody wants to come on board and begin to display his own skills. I think governance should not be like that. I think the people should come first in governance. We can see that since the inception of this governance in Edo State, it has been one trouble or the other. It has been more of fight between the government that handed over to them and the one that came in. The people has been the ones suffering all of this process. So I think the government should sit up, look critically at those things that are good that they took over from the previous government and see how to perfect them, try to work on them, try to reinstate them in the interest of the people. Then I want to lastly say that the way the government has swift into action on this and try to meet with all concerned parties is very encouraging. But I want to quickly also say that if this has been the case before now, even in the issues of where you had reports of herdsmen kidnapping villagers, terrorizing villagers, if we have had the government coming into the picture and interacting with these villagers and also identifying with them in their times of needs, in their times of pains, I think it would have been a very interesting thing. I think we would have not gotten to this point. But we have not seen the government taking any of these kind of actions. Even when the villagers were making all of these complaints, the government never lifted a finger. How come now they are all over the place? The governor was in Kano State, the governor is in Abuja now trying to meet with everybody on this. How come he did not meet with every other person that have been concerned with this lack of security before now? People that have been kidnapped, people that have been killed, how come they have not been compensated? And we hear now that they are going to be compensation for these guys. All of this is good. But I'm saying that this should be done holistically. There should not be a preference for a particular a certain aspect of the populace. Why somebody has to suffer? We are all Nigerians and we all belong to the same country. So I want to leave it here, Mr. Due Process. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that elaborate background into the events that actually led to what we are facing at the moment. I want to agree totally with you that it is a lack of governance. We have so many ungoverned spaces, and this often leads to insecurity in our land. As a matter of fact, I will attest to having watched a video where the former governor was actually showing the control room. And I could see a lot of laptops, a lot of cameras where they are able to secure Edo State, as it were. But with the introduction of this new administration, Edo State has been coming up for the wrong reason, for insecurity. And one begins to wonder, is that the landmark that the current administration want to leave behind? You know, having to tackle insecurity from onset. This is very bad. The right thing has to be done. He has received, of course, as a sitting governor, he received reports of every situation in the states. Before he wakes up, the reports are already on his table. What has he done about it? If he has been up and doing as a sitting governor, he will not get to this stage, you know. So it all boils down to his failure as a governor in the state who failed to handle his responsibility as it is expected of him. So we welcome more contribution. If you want to have your say on this topic, please raise your digital hands so that you'll be given the audience to say so. It's very unfortunate that this situation has prompted him traveling around, going to Kano, going to Abuja. And this is something that will have been handled right from the remote course. It's unfortunate that our country, we don't seem to appreciate, to place high premium value on human lives, as it were. Otherwise, it's unfortunate that people will be killed in their homes, and every day people go about their normal businesses. It's becoming a norm in our society, and it is condemnable. And everyone should be ready to condemn government failure on insecurity. A community without security cannot develop. A community without security cannot even attract any investments, for substance. So people should raise our voices to promote security of our country. Collectively, if there is any security breach, it is not just about the people who perpetrate the act. It is just a show that the government of the day has failed. So okay, I have two digital hands. Mr. Degbe, I think you are the first. Thank you.
Yes, I want to believe that my submission the other time was understood by the audience. Because if you look at the kidnappers newly arrested in Anambra State, look at the number of ammunition they were keeping in their possession. More than 15 AK-47, another type of guns in their possession. That is why you see me coming out.
الاحتراس محمد كده في تركي بدار الله في درس محمد كده في
I don't know what is wrong with these people. You have no job than to go around and disrupt program. Please, Mr. Degbe, you can unmute and speak. Thank you. Mr. Degbe, Sunday,
yes, I'm here. Nobody, as far as Nigeria is concerned, is allowed to go about with any type of gun. Whether they gun, AK-47, AK-75, or what have you. You don't need to go about with any of those things. And there are specific type of gun you can register with the government. And you see these criminals going about with sophisticated weapons, ammunition to places and nobody challenged them. If those ammunition is found with Igbo man, they will tag the Igbo man as IPOB. If it is a Yoruba man, they will say it's an armed robber. Because you have no right to go about with those guns. That is why I'm coming out that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu have to put an end. It's only him that can do it. If the governor come up with amnesty, he's talking of the state alone. But the federal, we want to cleanse this issue of insecurity in totality. This is what we should do. That's what I analyze. Because insecurity is not only in Edo State. You go to Enugu State, some communities are homeless. Go to Benue State, the same thing. So if this issue is not handled as it ought to be, it will go around. Everybody will receive. It will touch everybody. That is why. Because now you are living, now I'm in Kwara State. I will just carry AK-47 now for my self-defense. I'm going to Edo State. I will be arrested. For these people, nobody arrests them. Nobody arrests them. So if we want to end this thing, like I said the president have to come up first by declaring amnesty. Let everybody having guns in their possession come and submit it. I know not everybody will submit. If we are having 4 million guns in the bush, if 3 million submit, we know that it remains 1 million. So that 1 million that remain, at the end, let the military go to the forest and fish out those people and begin to arrest anybody caught with gun. Whether day gun, you have to bring the license. And if you have a license in your day gun, why are you leaving your local government to go and hunt with another local government, even in your state? You don't need to go from one local government to another. Those are the areas I'm looking at. Thank you, my brother.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Sunday. You're spot on. Mr. Rampan, you can have the mic.
Thank you very much, parliamentarians and viewers. The issue of security has been handled with kid gloves in Nigeria. The government is responsible for two basic things for its citizens. It's like the summation of the entire constitution is one, security of its citizens, and two, their welfare. The importance of security has been downplayed. And sometimes some people begin to wonder, this government, maybe they're allowing the insecurity to thrive so that sinister things could go behind. In fact, some people claim that the insecurity in some areas in Nigeria is artificial. If you remember during the 2023 elections, Major Mustafa made some very strong allegations that Zambisa is not actually an insecurity thing, that insecurity is just the cover. And Nigeria is blessed with natural resources, minerals in the earth. But Nigeria is not really mining them. Is this the case all over? And come to look at it, anywhere you see that insecurity is beginning to come up, you look at the place, critically, there are serious minerals or ways that the country is benefiting, rivers. We know that the Delta as a whole, that's where the fuel that's been fueling Nigeria is coming from. And when you go to parts of Niger State and Zamfara State, we know there's gold there. Is it artificial? then how can you blame us? If we agree with the assertions of a top military officer, the commander-in-chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic, late General Sani Abacha, who said that if any insecurity or insurgents last for over 24 hours, let me say 48 hours, because I'm not really sure of the time, but that tone, that the hand of the government is involved. For goodness sake, how many people would need to be killed before the government wakes up to that responsibility? How many people need to be sacrificed? This is clear, blatant, what's the term for it here? Lack of concern for the citizens, just for want of a better word. The basic thing is missing. Okay. Aside that aspect, why is it that they have to wait once it has happened before tracing the causes in the area? Just like Agbonipo said earlier, what is the root cause? Anything could spark it, but have we followed it? So Nigeria is in a situation where no country tolerates this level of insecurity. When it happened in Israel, October 7th, the whole country was in lockdown. Remember 9/11 in the US? The whole country was in lockdown. The next day, America was at war. We have been suffering this for 20 years. The last 10 years has been worse than ever. When will government begin to protect lives of its citizens? Shut down the civil. In fact, let's encourage the government to do this. Let civil servants stop work. Let students go back to the village, to their homes. Let government, until government begins to take security seriously. Don't go around the world buying new private jets, going to woo investors who will never come. Because nobody will invest in a country that is insecure. And it is not only in one aspect of the country, it is everywhere. Nobody, no right-thinking investor will come except if he's an arms dealer when the country is insecure. So don't go around wooing people to come and invest in Nigeria. Make the place secure. We are talking about GMO this, GMO that. Let's clear these things, clear our forests, make security, sweep all weapons, and let farmers be able to go to their farms, and let people travel from point A to point B and transact businesses safe and sound, and let people feel Nigeria as Nigeria was again. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to take my stop here so that others can contribute. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ampang. Very concise discussion we made here. As a matter of fact, I want to draw attention to something. Do you understand? Do you all realize that there is what they call security? Okay, Mr. Kevin.
Yeah, let me just quickly make a comment. This whole TEDAS herdsmen issue. I've been watching a particular country, and I'm wondering whether Nigeria has learned any lesson, whether Nigeria has been watching other countries, if they have any similar scenario. If we are not going to such direction. In Rwanda, prior to April 1994, you had similar issues that continued lingering on for a long time. And at the end of the day, they ended up slaughtering themselves. By the time they realized the eyes open, you don't have the Rwanda we have today. We have a situation whereby, in their situation, the government was completely ignoring what was going on. Until under their nose, they took on their president vice president, and all held. This thing has continued over the years. These people have lingered on in our forest. Now we are beginning to see its effect on our food, on the food that we eat. The time we come, we may not even be able to get enough food to eat. Uromi, for instance, almost on a daily basis, people were coming from the farms with different stories of fatality of these same people. We've been ignoring it. Now there's a reaction, and everybody seems to be pointing the finger. And I just hope that our government will sit down one day and say, look, we better nip this thing in the bud. But if you look at it right now, it doesn't seem as if the government is interested in taking care of this particular issue. I don't know whether it's because of their political outcomes going forward, they don't want to see anything. Before now, we saw what happened to those 3 soldiers that were posted last 2 weeks or so, where Boko Haram shot them at the back of their heads. And for how many days till now, the government has not said anything about it. And we have a situation whereby this thing is going on around the country. They slaughter people in Ovia North East here. They've gone to Benue this morning. Continues happening. It happens in everywhere. And the government continues to ignore. I just hope, from my own opinion, that the government needs to do it. But if not, I see us going in the way of Rwanda in the nearest future. I just hope it doesn't get to that. If anybody is here who has ever watched the movie Hotel Rwanda, or sometimes in April, go and watch and see what happens when you completely ignore the fact that a particular group of people in this country continue to wreak havoc. There seems to be no reaction until finally there's a reaction and all hell will be broken. I just hope we don't get to that point, because it seems as if our government just feels that their political ambitions and themselves alone, thinking of just themselves alone, maybe they feel that, okay, the populace don't fight back, or they're not going to fight back, but they're not going to do anything. But I just hope, because one day it seems as if at some point we get to that, because when it comes to the stomach of a human being, if this thing continues and people can no longer go to the farms and people can no longer feed themselves, they may, at the end of the day, arms in order to feed themselves, and that is when we just hope that something, a war or something, will not break out, something like. I just hope the government sits up. That's my own opinion. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Calvin, for that wonderful example you have cited from Rwanda. As a matter of fact, I watched the movie Genocide in Rwanda, 1996. You know, Rwanda went through tribal war, and the government, like Mr. Kevin has rightly pointed out, ignored the situation, and it lingered on until it culminated into civil war. And that war eventually paved way for the new Rwanda that we know today. Rwanda has bounced back rapidly. And if what happened in Rwanda 1996 had happened in Nigeria, I wonder our rates of bouncing back, because we are already riddled in corruption and a whole lot of things. As a matter of fact, Nigeria experienced civil war in 1966, in 1967, 68. If we are to go into another civil war as it is today, I don't see Nigeria surviving this. No way. So the best thing for Nigerian government to do is to avoid any break of civil war. Because in the event that that happens, that may be the end of Nigeria. And we don't pray for that to happen. Because all those forces that worked and fought against the Igbos during the Civil War, the Biafrans, I don't see them having the same zeal to fight them. So for us to maintain the peace we're enjoying, it's better justice prevail in our land. And the Nigerian constitution, the Nigerian policy way of running the government is incriminating. How can you be having security votes in a country that is not at war? Why not convert that security vote into further disbursement of needed resources to the people? And the security vote, in my own opinion, is the reason why state governments who are not beneficiary of the security votes find a way to invite insecurity to their states in order to be beneficiary of the security votes. With what is happening in Edo State now, I see them being incorporated into the security votes already. So we should look at it in that regard, that state governments find a way to create insecurity. Insecurity in Nigeria is man-made. It's not foreigners coming to fight us, but we have bad elements who empower these militias to cause trouble in the farm, knowing fully well that it will escalate, and they already have insecurity in their states, which qualifies them for security votes. So that's one aspect that I want us to look at. I want contribution in this regard, please. It's very sensitive. We have to talk about it. Look at Niger State, for instance. Niger State has a lot of mineral resources, high quantum of gold reserve, and there is no, the government is not taking charge of this gold reserve. And the LGAs where there are these gold reserve are the ones that are under insecurity, like Shiroro, Rafi, and some parts of Boso that have this gold deposit are the ones that are constantly under banditry attacks. They call them banditries, but I don't see them to be bandits. Bandits should be using a very light weapon to attack community, and probably in most cases they get caught and eliminated. But what we have is a very, very serious situation beyond that. And there are feelers that these bandits, so to say, they are on assignment to chase away the inhabitants of those gold deposits, those communities where there are high gold reserve. They chase them away, and they bring in their machineries to actually exploit their gold minerals. So the governments need to be very truthful to the citizens and avoid all the shenanigans, trying to lie to our faces, claiming they are fighting insecurity, whereas we all know that they are not really interested in ending insecurity in Nigeria. How can you continue to have people in IDP in a country that is not at war? You know, it's very condemnable. Nigeria is not at war, but there are people that have already left their ancestral land across different states. In Benue, you have over 200 IDPs. That is a shame in our country. In Niger, there are over 50 IDP camps. It's a shame in a country that is not at war. Is it in Southern Kaduna? They face that also. I'm glad that they are trying to get some relief with this current dispensation. So insecurity, we may think is happening far, but if insecurity is not well handled and brought to an end, it's like a weather that will definitely go around. Previously, Edo was never in the picture. Previously, Enugu State was not in the picture, but now they are all in the picture, and it's going around. You know, Benue has constantly been under this herdsmen attack, to the extent that they sign into law anti-grazing. They pass into law the anti-grazing law in order to stop this movement of herders who move around, destroying farms and affecting lives of the community. So do we have further contribution, please, on this topic? If you want to make contribution, please feel free to unmute your mic and speak. We have further contribution? So in the absence of further contribution from this parliamentary house, I will be coming to the end of this program. And we thank you all for coming through, for creating time to be in this.
Well, it appears that due process has been frozen in action. Please confirm, or is it just from my end? Can somebody confirm?
It's from the rest. I'm not hearing him anymore.
Okay.
Full session coming.
Hello, due process. Okay.
I want to speak. Good evening or good afternoon, parliamentarians. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir. It's like due process was trying to wrap up and the network out. Maybe the network doesn't want us to wrap up now. So we're listening, sir.
Okay, before we wrap up, I'm sorry for joining a little bit behind schedule. It is still the issue of internet failure. We're in Nigeria. I'm sorry, but I want to add to what you all have spoken well. But the issue that we are currently experiencing in Edo State is very unfortunate once again. When I heard rumors about statements coming from both the federal government and the government of Edo State about preventing reprisal attack, I laughed in my hands because I don't think it was going to be possible. You know, we seem to forget that, as far as I can remember, there was never a time in the past when the North failed to retaliate. There was never a time in the past. We remember in 1953 Kano riots. What sparked it was following when Anthony Enahoro of Action Group and NCNC moved the motion that Nigeria should become independent. So that motion was rejected by northern politicians. And following that rejection, they moved out of when the session was destabilized, they moved out of the lawmaking hall and they got slandered. They were slandered, they were attacked by the Southerners. And afterwards, politicians from the South later on visited the northern politicians to urge them, press them to accept that motion. And that led to the Kano riots. We saw the killing and attack of several Southerners, mainly the Igbos. Again, in the 1960 counter-coup was also, in July 29, counter-coup was also a reprisal attack in response to the coup led by Nzogwan and rest of them. So there was never a time the North failed to retaliate. So I now blame the government. It is not possible to prevent a reprisal attack. Possible in Nigeria. You can prevent an offensive action by making sure that you institute early warning mechanisms that will ensure that the people do not react in a negative way. Now, for example, the Edo citizens, some of them are justifying what happened, the jungle justice, because they said that the government had failed to pander to their wishes or protecting them, because as the national chairman of COPDEM said, that the primary responsibility of every government is to protect lives and property. And beyond that, some political philosophers like Jinjat Ruzu propounded that the reason for establishing a government, that the people came together and agreed to surrender some of their rights to their representatives, those in power, so that they will in turn protect them. But if that did not happen, the people had the right to withdraw that privileges they had given to those in power. So that is what exactly was demonstrated in Edo State. So they felt that the government had failed to protect them. So they took rights, the laws onto themselves. So that was a reaction. What happened in Edo State is what I will refer to as a cyclical reaction. It is a cyclical reaction. It is not an offensive action, but it was a reaction to the incapacity on the part of the government. And this reaction will continue. It is unfortunate it will continue. So I am not surprised that we are having these reprisals from, allegedly from the Fulani herders. It will continue. The problem here is that the government has failed to unite the country. The greatest problem in Nigeria is unity, not even poverty, not even unemployment. It is unity, because Nigeria is a diverse country. It's a country with diverse cultures, over 250 ethnic groups. And yet we are ethnically we don't have, this harmony is lacking. So, but the government in power is not doing enough to unite the country. That is the problem. So in order to address the situation, this cyclical reaction that is going on, we need to address the problem of disunity in the country. We need to go backwards, do some self-examination and introspection, and see where we are getting it wrong. Otherwise, the problem will continue. That's what I want to say. I don't know whether Christian has joined. Does anyone have any other thing to say?
Okay. Yes, Tochukwu.
Right.
From my own end, I seriously believe that maybe within the parliament, we should be ending up with resolutions or probably even statements to those in power so that they know the heartbeat of Nigerians. We have representatives from across the country in the National Assembly, in the state assemblies. And these people are there because not the whole of the 250 million Nigerians cannot be in the same Senate, Reps, House of Assembly at once. So we have, like you said, giving them or outsource our powers so they represent us. But are they really representing us? With sporadic security issues in different parts of the country, almost on daily basis, majority of whom are not even announced. They are now like normal things in some communities. Go to the police, they say even if you go to the police, they will arrest you for going to the police that so thing has happened, or they have attacked a farm. Okay, go to the military, they will wait for orders from above. Where do the people now go to? When you get to our representatives, they are busy passing national anthem bills. They are busy passing age limits for 60 years for president. They are busy passing bills on, they will charge you to court, fine you 500,000 naira or some years in prison if you don't have a voter's card and vote by force. Can you imagine? The major thing that is stopping Nigeria's progress is this insecurity. Yes, disunity plays a factor. But then, if no consequences are meted for those proponents or those who are pushing, troubling their neighbors, there cannot be peace. And if there's no peace, there can't be unity to a large extent. So our representatives should wake up and wake up by force to prioritize whatever the feelings of Nigerians are their own constituents to start with, and make it a point of duty to ensure that they have the real feeling of the people. Security is topmost. Agriculture needs to be tackled, because you can't even go into the agriculture in full swing when people don't even want to travel from their houses to the next villages because of insecurity. So it is paramount. If they fail, I propose that this parliament should write officially to the National Assembly to halt other bills and face security squarely. Or they come back home and we vote, elect somebody that will go there and speak. If they fail, we want to hear Labour not only protest about salary increase and wages increase. Where will they spend the money when farmers are not producing food and the cost of living is high? So Labour should step up on this. Let them also mobilize strike action. Sit at home in the East is just child's play. Let Nigerians say, give us security or get out. Let us be secure. Mop up all weapons that are flying around and place security, whether it's joint task force, at strategic places. Make a detailed plan to secure the lives of Nigerians, for God's sake. That is why you are sitting as Mr. President, as Mr. Speaker, as Mr. Distinguished, Honorable, whatever titles you have, even though you must have not been there through the right process. But now that you are there, play the part well. Protect the lives of Nigerians and provide the environment for Nigerians to grow. I'll yield the mic at this point to Chukwu. I think this will be my closing remarks, and thank you very much. I yield.
All right, let's hear the submission of Ibrahim.
Thank you very much, everyone. Once again, good evening. I'm Ibrahim Umar. You have all spoken well. What I want to say is basically a few lines to remind us all that the biggest problem we have in Nigeria, as my colleague rightly said, unity, but we can't get unity without justice. Peace is not the absence of conflicts, but the presence of justice. Society as a whole is built on a delicate network of human relationship, which by the slightest of provocation become tangled, distorted. So how can we achieve that balance of justice? To these politicians, we're just like pawn, and they are playing us like a pawn in a chess game. They don't really care about anybody's life. All they care about is the votes they are going to get. And they'll keep on dividing us. It's a simple game. If you want to divide the people, you use this simple idea. They call it DESUN, D-E-S-U-N. The D stands for the individuation. E stands for emotional contagious. S stands for simplifying your messages. For example, if you want to divide a group of people, U stands for us versus them ideology. You divide the people that these are our enemies, these are our friends. And when this unfortunate incident of that happened in Edo State happened, we have seen that in northern part of Nigeria, some people are saying they will attack the Igbo community. Little they didn't know that the people of Edo State are not even Igbo people. So you see, the Igbo people in northern part of Nigeria have been vilified, and people are looking at them as the real enemy, which is quite sad indeed. I believe the best way for us to achieve anything at all, because these politicians have made sure that poverty have become a norm in the society, and a hungry man is an angry man. It's very, very easy to control the people using their vulnerability of poverty and illiteracy. So I'm suggesting for COPDEM start organizing programs, symposiums to educate and enlighten the people. I think enlightenment is the #1 thing that Nigerians need, because the disunity is everywhere and very, very sad. Very few people look beyond their own sentiment with regards to the issues that is happening in Nigeria. So I feel it is high time for us, Nigeria, a country with more than 100 million youth. The number is more than the population of countries like United Kingdom, Ghana, and most of these European superpowers. The population of Nigeria is more, the population of youth in Nigeria is more than their population. So we should start thinking about our future, the future of the young generation, because Nigeria is our only heritage. We have nowhere to go. That's my advice, and that's what I want to say. Thank you, everyone.
Do we have any other questions? Comments? Suggestions? All right. I think in the absence of any question, it is unfortunate. Christian has left us, but we must continue. Nigeria is a big country. Nigeria is a great country, but the few oligarchs in power are controlling negatively everything, all and sundry. But I believe that with this kind of platform, we are going to have, there is this proverb that a problem shared is half solved. And so this platform gives us this privilege to air our views. What is your problem? What are you passionate about? What are the suggestions? What suggestions do you have to bring Nigeria from where it is currently to where it should be? So I thank the organizers of this forum, and I believe that someday, we will get it right here. And at least most people in Nigeria will enjoy the dividends of democracy, dividends of their sufferings and their efforts. So I thank everyone who has joined this program. I thank you, National Chairman of COPDEM, Mr. Rampam Jr. I thank you, Ebwe Albonifo. I thank you, Mr. Kevin, and every other person who has joined this forum. May we reconvene tomorrow for another wonderful session. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, and have a pleasant day.
You too, sir.